Missouri Senator and former Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley joins me now. Senator, thank you for being here. What surprised you the most today during that testimony?
I think that Rod Rosenstein admitted that he signed this warrant to a secret court, the FISA court, for a wiretap, and he admitted that he didn't even read the warrant application. This was a warrant involving the President of the United States, an ongoing investigation of the President of the United States, and he didn't even read it. And before the committee, he acted like he wasn't responsible, and that it was somebody else's responsibility to verify these facts. They misled the court so badly, Martha, that the court on its own issued a statement that said that we can't trust anything that the FBI gives us in any other case because we have been so badly lied to. Somebody has to be responsible here.
Well, what does that tell you about his frame of reference as he was approaching all of this?
Well, I think it tells you that he wasn't serious about doing his job. I mean, he was the acting attorney general at the time because Jeff Sessions had recused himself. He was the point person on this investigation, and it's his signature on the paper. It's his job to represent things truthfully to this court. And by the way, Martha, the thing about this court is if you're a defendant, you don't get to appear in front of it. It's a secret court. They rely on the truthfulness of the government, and in this case, the government lied.
So I also thought it was very interesting when he spoke with Senator Lindsey Graham about the composition of the Mueller team and how much oversight in his position, which was to be the overseer of that investigation, he really had. And it reminded me of a question that I had asked him back in 2017, July of 2017, when I was interviewing him. Watch this. It has come out in some of the attorneys that he has hired that several of them have made donations to Hillary Clinton, to the Clinton campaign. Does that bother you?
The Department of Justice, we judge by results. And so my view about that is we'll see if they do the right thing.
Have you vetoed any of his choices for any attorneys that are working on this case?
I have not personally been involved in any decisions about who to hire.
So it's interesting because, even back then, he was being questioned about whether or not he was overseeing things, whether or not he had a sense of who it was that was involved in this investigation and whether or not there was fairness. And he basically said, look, I put all this trust in this, but we'll see. We will see. But did he ever follow up and see?
No, he didn't, by all accounts. And the best that you can say, Martha, is that he was asleep at the switch. But we also know that at the same time, according to other news reports, he was talking about invoking the 25th Amendment against the sitting president of the United States. That is to effectively remove the president of the United States from office. He was having those conversations. So I think this is somebody who wasn't really serious about getting the facts. He certainly wasn't serious about policing the FBI underneath him, who were on this crusade, a handful of agents on this crusade against the president. And Rod Rosenstein, submitted to the court materially false statements that led the court to say they probably shouldn't have issued these warrants. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. There has got to be accountability and there has got to be change.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked you the question about his frame of reference, because either it's negligence or it's something else. And obviously, the Durham investigation is digging into all those questions as well. There was some pushback to the idea of even holding this hearing from Democrats who you sit on the committee, on the Judiciary Committee with. Here is Senator Patrick Leahy today. Let's watch this.
We do have then the unanimous assessment within the intelligence community. Russia interfered in our election. Any argument suggesting that the Russia investigation should have never occurred, I find that deeply troubling.
Is that what the suggestion is there? That no investigation should have taken place?
No, of course not. And what we're talking about here with the investigation and the warrants that Rosenstein signed off on have nothing to do with Russia in general. They have to do with specific allegations that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians. And what we know from the Mueller report is that's absolutely false. What we also know, because Rosenstein admitted today, is that they didn't have any evidence at the time, and that if he knew now what he knew then, he never would have signed off. The real question is, Martha, why didn't he try to find out the facts then? Why didn't he do his job?
Yeah. I mean, it would have saved a lot of people a lot of money and a lot of time over the last 2 years if he had looked into it more deeply at the time to really see what was going on. I mean, it just makes you scratch your head. With regard to, to put on your former AG hat here, and you listen to the Attorney General Keith Ellison in Minnesota, do you agree with the increase in the charge to second-degree murder based on what you know and the involvement of aiding and abetting that is now leveled at these other 3 officers?
I think if he can prove it, then he should absolutely go for it. He'll have to prove it to a jury, but the thing about it is, Martha, if you move to a second-degree charge, that carries 40 years in prison. You have to prove intent to kill. The aiding and abetting charges for the 3 other officers, those will get them the same sentences as the primary culprit, as the primary perpetrator. So really, you've got all 4 of them on the hook now, and it's just going to be a question of proving that to the jury. But, listen, we can see the video evidence. Hopefully the prosecutors have collected a lot more other evidence that will support this charge. And the officers will get their day in court, but there's got to be accountability here. There's got to be justice done in this case. And I look forward to improving that case, and I know that everybody is waiting for the outcome.
Thank you very much, Senator Hawley. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.